Our progress report says we ended up at stage 3, paragraph page 150. Okay, and our last
Okay.
headword was when, new word type of lesson. Okay, so let's start with revision. Ready?
Yes.
Here we go. Do you like vegetables? Do you like vegetables? Yes or no?
No, I don't like
Vegetables.
vegetables so much.
Do you like all vegetables? Do you like all vegetables? No,
No, I
I
don't
don't
like
like all
all the
vegetables.
vegetables.
Some I like and
Some I
some
like
I
and
dislike.
some I dislike.
Very good. Name me four vegetables. Name me four vegetables, please. The names
The
of four
names of
vegetables
four vegetables
are
are
potatoes,
potatoes,
carrots, potatoes,
carrots, potatoes,
carrots, onions,
carrots,
and peas.
onions, peas.
Name me four kinds of fruit. Name me four kinds of fruit, please. The names
The
of
names
four
of
kinds of fruit are apples,
four kinds of
oranges,
fruits are oranges,
apples, lemons,
apples,
and
lemons,
bananas.
and bananas.
Very good. Which do you prefer, tomato juice or orange juice? Which do you prefer, tomato juice or orange juice? I
I
prefer
prefer orange juice to tomato
tomato.
juice.
What's the plural of tomato? What's the plural of tomato? The
The
plural of
plural
tomato
of tomato
is
is
tomatoes.
tomatoes.
Do you study Spanish? Do you study Spanish? No,
No, I
I
don't
don't
speak. I don't
study
study
Spanish.
Spanish.
I study English.
I study English.
Do most school children like studying? Do most school children like studying? No, most
No,
school
the most
children
school children
don't like studying.
don't like
They
studying.
dislike
They
or hate
dislike
studying.
or hate studying.
Most must you study a lot if you want to learn a language well? Must you study a lot if you want to learn a language well? Yes, I must study
Yes,
a
I
lot
must study a lot
if I
if
want
I
to learn
want to
a
learn
language well.
a language well.
Very good. What time do you arrive here for your lesson? What time do you arrive here for your lesson? I arrive here at
I arrive here at 7 o'clock
for my lesson.
for my lesson.
Are you the first to arrive in the classroom? Are you the first to arrive in the classroom? Yes or no?
No,
No,
I'm
I'm not
not
the
the
first
first
to
person
arrive
to arrive
in the classroom.
in the classroom.
What time do you leave here after the lesson? What time do you leave here after the lesson? I leave here
I
at
leave here at 7
30
20 30
after the lesson.
after the lesson.
What time do you leave home to come here? What time do you leave home to come here? I leave home at
I leave
about
home at about
6:30 a.m.
6:30
to
a.m.
come here.
to come here.
Do you leave your books in the classroom after the lesson? Do you leave your books in the classroom after the lesson? No, I don't
No,
leave
I
my
don't leave
books in the
my
classroom
book in the classroom
after the lesson.
after the
I
lesson.
take them with me.
I take them with me.
Do you leave any food on your plate after a meal? Do you leave any food on your plate after a meal? Yes or no?
No,
I
I
don't
don't
leave
leave
my
any
food
food
on my plate
on my plate
after a meal.
after meal. Sorry.
Very good. What can we see in the sky during the day? What can we see in the sky during the day? We can see the sun
We can see
in the
the sun
sky during the
in the
day.
sky during the day.
What colors the sun? What colors the sun? The sun's the
The
color
sun's colors
of gold. Of gold.
of gold.
One more. The sun's the
The sun's
color of
the
gold.
color of gold.
What colors the sky today? What colors the sky today? The skies.
The sky's
What color?
colors is
Blue
blue
today.
today.
One more. The sky's blue
The
today.
sky's blue today.
Very good. Okay. Do you live on the sea? Do you live on the sea? No,
No, I
I
don't
don't
live
live
on
on the
sea.
sea.
I
I
live
live
in
on the
land.
land. What's the name of the sea between Europe and North Africa? What's the name of the sea between Europe and North Africa? The name of the sea
The name of the
between
sea
Europe and North Africa.
and North Africa.
The name of the sea
The name of the sea
between Europe
between
and
Europe
North
and
Africa
North
is
Africa
the Mediterranean Sea.
is is the sorry is
Mediterranean.
Mediterranean Sea.
Right? Is Moscow by the sea? Is Moscow by the sea? No. Moscow
No.
isn't by the
Moscow
sea.
isn't by the sea.
It's
It's
inland.
inland.
Is New York inland? Is New York inland? No. New
No.
York
New
isn't
York
inland.
isn't inland.
It's by the
It's
sea.
on. It's by the sea.
Very good. Okay, next. Here we go. What's this? What's this? It's one's 5
It's once five
equals 5.
equal 5.
What's this? What's this? It's twice
It's
5
two twice 5
equals 10.
equal 10.
What's this? What's this? It's
It's
3
3
times
times
5
5
equals
equal
15.
15.
What's this? What's this? It's 4
It's 4
times 5
times 5 equal
equals 20.
20.
How much is one's 90? How much is one's 90? One's 90
Once 90
equals 90.
equals 90.
How much is twice 50? How much is twice 50? Twice 50
Twice 50
is 100.
50 equals 100.
How much is 3 times 13? How much is 3 times 13? 3 times 13
Times 13
is 39
equal is is 39
or equals 39.
equals 39.
How many times a week do you come here? How many times a week do you come here? I come here
I come here
like 6
um
times a week.
6 times a week.
How many times a month do you go to the cinema? How many times a month do you go to the cinema? I go to the cinema
I go to the cinema
about once
once
a month or a week.
2000
I don't know what
2 months.
2000. Well, like one more.
Two,
I go to the cinema
I go to the
about
cinema about
once a month.
once a month.
How many times a day do you eat? How many times a day do you eat? I eat 3
I
times a
eat
day.
3 times a day.
How many times do we live? How many times do we live? We only live
We
once.
only live once.
Very good. Okay, next. What am I doing? What am I doing? You're cutting the
You're
book
cutting the book
with your finger.
with your finger.
What do we cut meat with? What do we cut meat with? We cut
We
meat
cut the meat
with a knife.
with a knife.
Can we cut bread without a knife? Can we cut bread without a knife? No, we
No, we
can't cut
can't
bread
cut bread without
without a
a
knife.
knife.
Very good. Okay, what am I doing? What am I doing? You're lifting the
You're
book.
lifting the book.
Can you lift the table with your little finger? Can you lift the table with your little finger? No,
No, I
I can't
can't
lift the
lift the
table with
table
my little finger.
with my little finger
Why not? Why not? Because it's too
because it's
heavy
too
for me
heavy for me
to lift.
to lift it.
Is this piece of paper light enough for you to lift? Is this piece of paper light enough for you to lift? Yes, that
Yes,
piece of paper
that piece of paper
is light enough
light
for me
it's
to
light
lift.
enough. it's
For
light
me
enough in it's light enough for me to lift.
to lift. Very good. Okay. Is the table as high as the door? Is the table as high as the door? No. The
No, the
table
table isn't
isn't
higher than
as
the
high as
door.
the door. One more. No, the table
No, the table
isn't as high
it isn't
as
as high as
the
the
door.
door.
It's lower than the door.
It's lower than the door.
Is your building as high as Mount Everest? Is your building as high as Mount Everest? No. My
No,
building
my
isn't
building
as
isn't
high
as
as
high as
Mount
this
Everest.
mountain Everest.
It's lower than
It's
Mount
lower than that.
Everest.
It's lower than
Mount
Mount
Everest.
Everest.
Is the river Thames as long as the Nile? Is the river Thames as long as the Nile? No. The
No,
river
the river
Thames,
isn't as long as
the
the
Nile.
Nile.
It's
It's
shorter than the
shorter than the
Nile.
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 Very good. Is Spain as large as South America? Is Spain as large as South America? No. Spain
No,
isn't
Spain isn't
as
the largest as big as
one more. No, Spain isn't
no, Spain isn't
as large as
as
South
large
America.
as South America.
It's smaller
It's
than
smaller than
South
South
America.
America.
Tell me the names of the 4 seasons of the year. Tell me the names of the 4 seasons of the year, please. The
The
names
names
of the
of
four
the
seasons
four
of the
seasons of
year
the
are
year
spring,
spring,
summer,
summer,
autumn, and
autumn, and winter.
winter. What season are we in now? What season are we in now? We're in
Sorry.
what season are we in now? What season is now? We're in
Um,
autumn
we're
now.
in autumn now.
Very good. What was last season? What was last season? Last season
Last
Was summer.
last season was summer.
What will next season be? What will next season be? Next
The next
season
season
will
will
be
be
winter.
no winter.
Very good. Which day precedes Wednesday? Which day precedes Wednesday? Tuesday precedes
Tuesday
Wednesday.
proceed proceed proceed
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Does Thursday precedes Wednesday? Does Thursday precede Wednesday? No.
No,
Thursday
Thursday
doesn't precede
doesn't proceed
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
It follows
It
it.
follows it follows it.
Which number follows the number 13? Which number follows the number 13? 14
14
follows the
follows
number 13.
13. The number 13.
Do the students precede the teacher out of the classroom after the lesson? Do the students precede the teacher out of the classroom after the lesson? No, the
No,
students don't
the students
precede the teacher
don't proceed
out
the
of the
teacher
classroom
out of the classroom
after the
after the
lesson.
lesson.
They follow him.
They follow him
Does the
after the lesson.
does the teacher precede the students into the classroom before the lesson? Does the teacher precede the students into the classroom before the lesson? No, the
No,
teacher
the
doesn't
teacher
precede the
doesn't
students
proceed the
into the
students
classroom
into the
before the
classroom
lesson.
before the
He
lesson.
follows them.
He follows them.
Very good. When do you have your breakfast? When do you have your breakfast? I have my
I
breakfast
have my bed.
at
I have at 8 o'clock in the
one more.
morning.
I have my
I
breakfast
have my I have my breakfast
at
at
8
eight
o'clock
o'clock
in the
in the
morning.
morning.
When does the lesson begin? When does the lesson begin? The
The
lesson
lesson
begins at 7
began
o'clock
at 7 o'clock
in the morning.
in the morning.
When do you get up in the morning? When do you get up in the morning? I get up at
I get up at 6:30 in the morning.
very good. Okay. Okay, so that's the end of our revision. Let's have new
Oh,
work. Very good. Okay, repeat.
I can't remember it.
Yes, you can. We will review it again tomorrow.
Yes.
Okay, repeat while.
Well,
Whilst.
whilst.
Very good. Okay, listen. While and whilst are conjunctions. We can use the word while and whilst instead of whereas. So we can use whereas, while, whilst. They're the same. We generally use whereas the most when we speak. Let's practice. What other words can we use instead of whereas? What other words can we use instead of whereas? We can use
We can use
while
while
and
and
whilst
whilst
instead of
instead of
whereas.
whereas.
Which word do we use the most when we speak? Which word do we use the most when we speak? We generally use
We generally use
whereas the most
whereas
when
the
we
most
speak.
when we speak.
Very good. Next repeat. Old,
Old,
new.
new.
Very good. Listen, old and new are both adjectives. For example, I bought this last year. This pen is old. This is an old building I'm in at the moment. New is the opposite of old. For example, I bought this book yesterday. This book is new. Okay, so let's practice. Is your is that an old building you're in at the moment? Is that an old building you're in at the moment? Yes or no? Is your building
Oh,
old or new?
I
Uh,
can't get. I can't get. Sorry.
oh, the question is, are you? Is that an old building you're in at the moment? So is the place where you live? Is your apartment new or old? Is it
Oh,
newly
yes.
built
No.
or built long ago?
Yes.
What do you mean? Yes, old or new?
I, mm,
Just choose one, even if we're not sure. Old or new?
older, maybe.
Okay, one more. Yes, this is
Yes.
an old
This is
building
an old building.
I'm in at the moment.
I'm I'm in at the moment.
Very good. Are your shoes new? Are your shoes
I,
new?
I
Yeah.
choose new.
No, that's the question. Are your shoes
Hmm?
new? Are your shoes new? Yes or no?
Choose new.
Your
I
shoes,
can't
the shoes
get
that you
it.
use.
Sorry.
Your shoes. Like
Oh, your shoes.
your
Your shoes.
shoes. Are your shoes
Oh.
new or old? Yes or no?
Ah. Um. Yes. New.
My shoes are new.
My shoes are new. Yeah.
Very good. Okay, next repeat. Older than.
Older than.
Newer than.
Newer than.
Very good. Okay, listen. Older than is the comparative of old. For example, this pen is older than this book. Newer than is the opposite of older than. For example, this book is newer than this pen. Okay, let's practice. Is your blouse older than your shoe? Is your blouse older than your shoes? Yes or no?
Uh,
Your blouse, you bought it
oh
before your
yes.
shoes? Yes. Yes?
No,
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 my
yes.
blouse
My blouse
isn't
isn't
older
isn't older
than my
than my
shoes.
shoes.
It's newer
It's
than my
newer
shoes.
than my shoes.
Very good. Next repeat. The oldest.
The oldest.
The newest.
The newest.
Very good. Okay, listen. The oldest is the superlative of old. It means very old. For example, this pen is older than this book, and this book is older than this watch. So this book is the oldest thing I'm holding in my hand. The newest is the opposite of the oldest. For example, this pen is older than this book, and this book is older than this watch. So this watch is the newest thing I'm holding in my hand. Let's
Yes.
practice. What's the newest thing you're wearing? What's the newest thing you're wearing? My?
My
What's the newest thing? The newest thing you're wearing? Your blouse, your pants, your watch?
yes. I wear the blouse is the
One
newest
more.
thing.
My blouse
My
is the
blouse
newest thing
is the newest thing
I'm wearing.
I'm wearing.
Very good. Next, repeat. Old,
Old,
young.
young.
Very good. Okay, listen. Old and young are both adjectives. We generally use the word old and new for things,
Yes.
whereas we generally use old and young for people. For example, Anna Brown isn't an old woman. She's a young girl.
Yes.
Let's practice. What's the difference between new and young? What's the difference between new and young? The difference
The
between
difference
new
between
and young
new and
is that
young
we
is
use
that
new
we use
for
new
things,
for things,
whereas we use young
whereas we use young
for people.
for people.
For people.
For people.
Is Miss Brown an old woman? Is Miss Brown an old woman? No.
No,
Miss Brown.
Mr. Brown isn't.
Miss Brown
Miss Brown
isn't an old woman.
isn't an old woman.
She's a young girl.
She's a young girl,
Very good. Next repeat. Younger than.
younger than.
Very good. Okay, listen. Younger than is the comparative of young. For example, I'm 42 years old. Whilst my mother is 60 years old. I'm younger than my mother. Let's practice. Are you older than
Yes.
your mother? Are you older than your mother? No,
No,
I'm
I'm
not
not
older
older
than my mother.
than my mother.
I'm
I'm
younger than
younger
my.
than my mother.
Very good. Next, last one. Repeat the youngest.
The youngest.
Very good. Okay, listen. The youngest is the superlative of young. It means very young. For example, my mother is 60 years old. I'm 42 years old. My brother is 16 years old. My brother is the youngest in my family, whilst my
Yes.
mother is the oldest in my family.
Yes.
Let's practice. Who's the youngest in your family? Who's the youngest in your family? My
My sister is the
is
youngest
in
person in
in
my
my.
family.
Very good. Okay, so now let's move on to reading.
Yes.
Okay, very good. So our reading starts at stage 2, page 105.
105. Yes.
105, and the last headword was possessive adjective.
Yes.
Okay, start with the third question. What's the difference between a possessive adjective?
Oh, yes. Please wait a moment.
Okay.
Sorry. What's the difference between a possessive adjective and the possessive pronoun? The difference between a possessive adjective and a possessive pronoun is that we put a possessive adjective in front of a noun, whereas we use a possessive pronoun instead of a noun.